So, I thought we could play Sunless Skies together. It's a game I haven't really played, but I've played Sunless Sea, and it should be very similar. It's quite a relaxing game. It's quite a sort of, it has a thematic quality to it, almost sort of steampunk and Lovecraftian at the same time. I've been told that it's a little bit like Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, although I've never seen that. So, let's try it, shall we? And if you like it, then we can play more together. And if you don't, well then, we don't have to. Okay, let's start. First decision. Legacy campaign or a merciful campaign? I think we'll go with a legacy campaign. Make it a little bit more realistic. And we'll go for all the standard options here. Discovering a new port for the first time will reduce your terror. Okay. Log of Her Majesty's Locomotive of the Orphean, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead has been eventful. The Orphean is damaged and in grievous need for repair and supplies. We are returning in haste to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us, for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. Captain Amelia Whitlock. I can already tell this is going to be really good. It's going to be so, engrossing. The Blue Kingdom Transit Relay. Now in Sunless Skies you have fuel, and that's what powers your ship. In this case it's not a ship, it's a steam Zeppelin type thing. And then you have supplies, which is what your crew use up, and also the health of your ship. That's how much you can hold. This is the amount of crew that you can have. And this is important, this is your terror. You have to be careful not to allow your terror to get too high, otherwise crazy things start to happen. So let's try to avoid that, shall we? Okay, forward. You have returned to the Reach, an untamed sunless span of the heavens. London's new frontier. A celestial garden run wild. Let's try the touches. Okay. It's very pretty, isn't it? Very green. The journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged, and Captain Whitlock badly wounded. Let's hope she's going to be okay. You hear the little red lights, and it looks very green and beautiful. As first officer, the crew looks to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. Can you get the Orphean there safely? Hopefully so. So this is our little start, the training part of it, where we can find more. Let me have, what's this here? Scavenge. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a barrel of fuel amongst the detritus. You've little food left now, hunger will start to bite. What's this? A wreck drifts here, less fortunate even than you. We should scavenge her for repairs, a crewman suggests. Should I do voices? Probably like a sort of, we should scavenge her for repairs, a crewman suggests. The wreck of the Ozymandias. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocketed with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas, lined with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain Whitlock have with the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence him. Now is not the time. Leap across. So we've only got one option here, but as you go through the game you get several options you can take, and it affects the story. Leap across the wreck. The gap between their two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms of heaven gape beneath it. Leading the way. You jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds. When your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias, and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold, one of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces open an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. Okay. This is where you get some choices, and you can get a probability based off your skills. So this is the sort of more devious way of doing things, and this is the more sort of brute force way of doing things. Clear the obstruction or lead your party on a more precarious path. Let's do that one. Go back onto the Ozymandias' hull, climb past the blockage, and enter through a window on the far side, and do so gambling. Success. A memory. The rest of the boarding party follow you without enthusiasm. You recall the first time you climbed outside an engine, helping the captain fix a leak in an exterior pipe. The wind had shrieked, buffeting around you. You asked the captain what would happen if you slept. You fall, she answered tersely. But where to, you asked? She looked down, then up, then back. The sky's depths spiraled all about you. Away, she said, and you heard her fear. Back in the present, you tumble back into the Ozymandias, through a shattered window. Your party spills in after you, glad to be back inside. Conduct a thorough search. Your companions work quickly. The Ozymandias' hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. Renewed. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orpheum. The food will need to be thoroughly thought, of course, but even worse in the skies. Oh ho! Cries one of the party, prying the lid off a long crate. It holds a cannon still nestled and strong. Another crewman pulls a battered birdcage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. 4 supplies, that's really good. And full health to the hull. Nice. Mount the Jerusalem cannon. Jerusalem was an English song. The words were written by William Blake, and one of the lines in there is, "Bring me my sword of burning gold." So I guess it's like very Victorian sounding, isn't it? It's Queen Victoria still is on the throne in this game, so. Okay, let's mount that. The Cotterell and Hathersage Jerusalem fires single shells to a good range, more or less accurately. You order 2 of your party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders spasmodically. So we now have the cannon. Liberate a different bat and employ it as a scout. The heavens are wide, so locomotives use scouts like bats to locate things of interest. Ports, resources, wrecks, like this one, to salvage. Let's get the bat. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins haggling over pay. That's very cheeky. You offer to put it back in its damn cage and leave it to the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt that will last. Okay, do we press onto the engine room? Or do we return to the Orpheum? I think we've done quite well. We've got fuel, supplies, full hull, a cannon, a little bat. I think we return. What do you think? Let's not risk it. You lead the boarding party back to your vessel, unshackling her from the buckling Ozymandias. You stoke your engines and steam away, restocked, repaired, and rearmed. The crew give a ragged cheer. Your terror has reduced. That's good. It's important to keep that terror down. Onwards. Okay. So let's steer forwards. Press F to send out your scout. It costs supplies. Don't think we need to do that yet. We're in a very closed-in area. Primary fire. Summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, clouds of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. Hopefully that's just allergies. This is actually quite dark, but trust me, it's dark, but also quite gentle and can be humorous at times. I think this is just building up the excitement from the start, but it's very sort of a dark humor to it. Approach the bedside, shall we? I mean, there's no point in inquiring. I mean, it looks bad, right? The captain opens her eyes as you draw near. She attempts to smile. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hands grip your arms. Her skin is as hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orpheum will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat. But promise. She breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not meant for a human mouth. When she resumes speaking English, she's weaker. Her request a little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. We've got to promise her, haven't we? She's faithfully led us to many an adventure. Let's do this. She sinks back, relieved. All in my will, she gasps. Be a better. She breaks off as the sigil burns into her bones, flare glowing cherry red through her fresh and skin. Better captain than I. The efforts exhaust her. She sinks back into the scorched pillows of a twisting, frantic fever. Take your leave. It's not looking good for her, is it? You leave the cabin with the scorched stink of its air behind and return to the bridge. The new Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't got long left. Maybe we can make it back in time, get her some medical treatment. Let's have a look. What's all this? A marauder. Oh, these boxes we're going to have to try to... I see. It's going to have to be a try to... Oh, battle already. Not sure we're ready for that, are we? Oh, just... Well, that was very unpleasant. When I used to play Sunless Skies, I would pretty much just avoid the battles. It didn't seem to be. It's more of the stories, the more fun part. Bancroft Forum. Wow, that looks really cool, doesn't it? All the green. I love the sort of the eerie lights. Little railways here. It must be around here somewhere. Gabriel's Archive. That looks cool. Yes, this looks like a densely populated area. Wow, look down there. The little trees and the flashing lights look like little fairies. Oh, it's beautiful. Little fortification. We must be close. Let's follow that. Ah, look. Here's a defensive post. Oh, and a bridge with lights. I think we can go under that. Must be very close now. Scamp's Narrow. 57 experience. Cool. Oh, stuff hit there. Red light. Pipes now. Wispy condensation trails across the sky, the ghosts of passing trains. New Winchester. Ah, here we go. We found it. A new port. The crew's relieved to see land. Perhaps unwisely. Okay, how do we get in here? Dock is... oh, okay. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot, and the steam of Wolseley Station. It's clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Listron Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. Let's make him Australian. I must speak with your captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. My accents are terrible, I apologize. Look to the Orphean's doctor. He's just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn. His hat is his hands. He lowers his eyes. The crew exchange a bleak, wordless look. The Orphean itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him. Unfortunately, Captain Whitlock has just passed. Our brave captain has just passed. Oh, wrangling schools that search what fire shall burn this world, had none the weight, with all their knowledge to aspire, that this her fever might be it. Okay, that seems solemn enough. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad, very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half, before continuing. Alas, even amidst tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority requires their answers from a first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It'll be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? Oh, this will be where you get to choose your character. That's quite cool because they've brought you through tutorial of how to do the basic things, and then you choose your character. In Sunless Skies, you chose your character first, but I think this is really, really clever improvement. Right, what shall we be? Today London lies between the stars. Her new empire unfolds across the heavens. But 10 years ago, before the Northern Gate was opened, before the renewed empress, that'll be Queen Victoria, led her people into the skies, it lay in a vast cavern far beneath the earth. Deep, dark, marvellous. Where were you then? Okay, so you're going to have to help me here. We've got a few choices. Street urchin, soldier, poet, academic, priest, sailor, that's what they call sailors, a ministry auditor, oh, sounds boring, or a revolutionary. Well, I'm thinking we either go poet, we go for sort of an Emily Dickinson, or we go revolutionary. Che Guevara, what do you think? Guevara or Dickinson? I think let's go for a poet. You were a poet. Poetry was popular in old London. Some poets sought fame, others art. Some simply enjoyed bohemian company. 3 preeminent artistic movements have come to prominence. Let's take a look. They're the Celestials, the Nocturnals, and the Sovereign Skull. The Sovereign Skull, a new tradition born in the Emperor's court. Their works are patriotic, bombastic, and occupied with iconography of time, clocks and seasons and sand and so forth. Oh, we don't want to do that. We may as well have been a ministry auditor if we were going to do something like that. So what have we got left? The Celestials. In old London they wrote nostalgically of the surface and of the sun. Now they write of the stars and the treasures of heaven. That sounds pretty cool. Let's do that. I think Dickinson would be a Celestial. What are we going to search for? Wealth, fame, or the truth? The truth. I don't know if we can handle the truth. Well, I think we can handle the truth. Even as the stars have secrets, but they won't keep them from you. The message from an old friend begins an unwise quest to learn secrets that the stars hide. What drives you? Curiosity? Justice? Insolence? Whatever it is, it will be tested. It says here, be warned, this is demanding ambition best played by our lineage that has already completed a wealth of fame. Okay, let's follow their advice and choose wealth or fame. You want a comfortable retirement, and by comfortable you mean extravagant. We don't want an extravagant life. Some things money can't buy. So I guess by default we'll choose fame. You will immortalize your exploits in the songs of the sky. For centuries people have launched themselves into unknown, in the hope of finding a name for themselves. You're sure you'll succeed. After all, you never heard of anyone who didn't. I wonder if bad things may have happened to them. Okay, now we choose our appearance. What do we think? That looks pretty cool. Let's change the hat though. There we go. Intendant, nurse, comrade, or comrade. That'd be a good one for. Che, sir, citizen, captain. There we go. That's captain. There we go. Let's start the game. 3 weeks have passed. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to the necropolis train bound for the Serene Mausoleum. How cool does that sound? I tell you what, behind this. The way they describe things and the creativity of the things that happen, I just think this is such a fantastic game already. Now you visit with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was a wealthy one once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. Interesting. Let's listen to the end. Is it not really the same as the... I'll just do it. Probably an old guy. In a final codicil, the notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed that possession of the Orphean was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry, grey eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orphean's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at the time of her choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card and deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that's it. You're captain now. 100 sovereigns. Wolsey Station. The clamouring central station of New Winchester. A place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's services. We can explore the city, recruit an incautious driver, an opportunity. We're there. Investigate the black box. Repair or hire crew. Let's recruit this person first, I'm going to make them Irish because I can't do very many accents and the ones I can do are bad, but I specialise in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. Was that Irish? The driver indicates the crashed engine still smoking, like that, without the screaming. Office requires sign-on fee. Yes, let's do that. Brave or fearless? Well, you recently parted ways with the Windward Company, they explained. Personally, I think a crash a week isn't so bad. They disagree. Oh well, live and learn. You have recruited the incautious driver. Let's explore the city. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. An ever-expanding port of soot-smudged glass and bright steel, spilling across a drifting mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder, its engine sheds ring with hammers and hiss with steam. The locomotives chug into sidings for repairs, or flare across the sky away into the wide wilderness. An opportunity to learn about trading. Visit the Promise of Days, a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice. I think that would be good, wouldn't it? Best to always start in a bar, I think, when it comes to these things. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamour of the adjacent engine yards. introduce yourself to the seasoned captains. 4 are gathered at the usual table. The masked citizen, a libertine polymath, and pioneer of neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled dictat, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, philanthropist, and spatchcock Meg, who hunts monsters. The baroness, probably very posh. Of course, everything here is jolly dangerous. Few frisks of the skies, so news in distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports from places you visit and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they shall pay. This is the masked citizen. He's probably like pretty evil. Look for opportunities on the way, advised the masked citizen. I imagine he catches his S's. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. The dictat. The dictat says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans. An essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captains shuffle around to make room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet and foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away. You ask about the markets. You can sell practically anything at the big trade hub like New Winchester, the baroness answers. If you want to buy, though, you'll need to travel to more distant ports. Each specializes in a particular export. Meg spits chewing tobacco on the floor. No money in buying at markets. Prices and selling at them too, though. You want to look for bargains or prospects of people offering plenty money. Buy cheap, sell dear. Should we have something? Let's go back and see. Because I want to give you a little bit of a feel of the game, so I don't want to. An opportunity. The fastidious inspector. So this will be a quest. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Excuse me, Captain. A woman pushes through the crowd towards you. She is short and square, so-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office, the body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I'm hoping to book passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. Pay does sound promising, so let's pay. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down, following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. Prosper lies northwest of New Winchester. Onwards. I tell you what, let's head to this northwest, right? So that's north and that's west, so we'll head up in this direction. Let's go have a look around. so you can get a bit more of a feel. It's very pretty. I lived in London for a while. It was very crowded, but very beautiful. What's this? Victory Hall. Let's try to talk there. Aha, the Assembly, a coalition of independent-minded settlers colloquially called the Tacites, gather and argue here, deliver port reports, here to receive war rewards and win the Tacites' favour. Okay, so there's going to be a few factions and you can improve your standing with each faction, and these are the sort of, I don't know, are these the evil guys? Visit Victory Hall. Raised in the wake of the blockade of New Winchester, this magnificence of glass and steel houses the Colonial Assembly. Here, representatives of the independent ports of the Reach gather and quarrel. Let's take a look around. The music of democracy. Today, the chambers of Victory Hall echo with shouting. The Assembly is in session, and outrageous roars descend from the boardroom to the palatial lobby. A discreet functionary escorts you from the premises before you hear anything too juicy. "You're a captain, aren't you?" she inquires, once you're safely outside. "If you want to be of service, bring us news from other ports. The Windward Company have spies everywhere. We need recent, accurate information of our own." Okay, so that's that. Yep, fine. No crash there. Oh, we've got another one. We may as well check it out. Company house. Okay, that'll be another faction. Stock. Visit the Windward Company. Following the uprising, the fortunes of the Windward Company fell in New Winchester. Now, their modest office occupies an ex-tinning factory in the murkier recesses of town. It continues to smell, faintly, of beans. Let's have a little take a look around. The offices are cramped. Typewriters ring. Assistants scurry between the desks. Beleaguered managers struggle to make themselves heard over the hubbub. Eventually, a harried assistant makes you a cup of tea. "I'm afraid everyone's busy today, but if you want to make yourself useful, we always need up-to-date reports on events beyond New Winchester. Bring them straight here, though, not to." He nods out of the window towards Victory Hall. "That lot. Queen and country and all, eh? Okay, so these guys must be..." They've got stories and jokes. "These guys must be the sort of bureaucracy, the old world. I think if we play longer, we might want to balance between the two. I like to be true neutral." So we'll have a fly around. Look how pretty it is. All the glowing lights. Looks like a friendly ship. Where were we going again? Northwest? Your terror doesn't go up as much if you're near something. So if you're just out in the nowhere, it's more stressful for the crew. But what's this? Could this be? Maybe not. It is very atmospheric, isn't it? The pictures, The artwork is just beautiful. It's the same for Sunless Seas. Maybe we can play Sunless Seas if you like this as well, because Sunless Seas is quite beautiful. Let's run from this. Oh look, magical trees and yes, Sunless Seas has a really Lovecraftian feel to it. What is this? Goodness. You approach the memorial of the unknown rat. One by one the crew remove their hands. You've learned from your experiences. That's pretty impressive. In this Sunless Seas, rats were engineers, so they could fix. They were really good at fixing ships. Wow, this place looks really beautiful. Traveling along. I hope we haven't missed. Let's look at them now. What's this? Let's find something down here. Maybe that's where. A stopped clock. So as you're going around, things happen to you, especially if you have special crew members. The fastidious inspector approaches you in the galley. Captain, good day. I notice your ship's clock is stopped. Perhaps you'd permit me to repair it. She has a little case of tools, and a hopeful expression. Yeah, that's permitted. You prefer things to be right more than twice a day. She gives you a grateful flicker of a smile, and sets to work. Soon, she has the back of the clock off, and has spread tiny cogs across the galley table. Obscure horological tools gleam brassily amongst them. Everything has its place. I appreciate the opportunity to keep myself busy. Staring too long at the stars is harmful to the temperament. So she's going to fix our clock. Inquire about her work. She sniffs. It is of fundamental importance that 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June in one corner of the Empire occurs at the same time as 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June on the opposite corner. Well, they don't believe in daylight theory or anything like that, do they? How is an empire to function if it can't agree on what day it is? Unfortunately, the process is complicated by the fact that time is less reliable than it was. The hours trade has seen to that. Let's bid her good evening and continue on. We'll head towards this thing, whatever it is. I'm hoping it's a town because we're running out of Lipkin Field. Huh. Let's check that map again. What's this? Oh, a wreck. This place looks very cold and horrible. Is that snow that's fallen? Grey witnesses. these things here are good, so they're a little more bright again. Oh, seems to be an ongoing battle. I think this could be somewhere more promising. Looks like it's a whole town. Let's maybe not go that way. The Fulbright factory. Port Prosper. This is what we were looking for. The Mornington Abrath Span. Wow, that sounds cool. Okay. Let's Abington Spring. So look at the shops. Queen's Cross Station. In London there's a King's Cross Station. You can see a lot of things sort of London-esque in these. In the Sunless Skies, when you first come out, there is an underwater cathedral, and it's called Low Barnet, and there's a High Barnet in London, but there isn't a Low Barnet, so I guess they're sort of adding to that. Recruit the Incognito Princess. Wow, that guy looks a lot like Hercule Poirot, doesn't he? Ask about the Albion Transit Relay. Should we recruit this lady and then? Perched atop a mountain of luggage is a radiant young woman. She's an officer dressed in what an actor would wear in a fantastical romance. A tiara rests on her brow. A steady stream of commoners comes to pay homage, bowing and courtesying enthusiastically. Starlings circle in dense swarms above her. Refugees from old London, and a common sight, although not in such numbers. She ignores everything and hands you papers so pristine they can only be forged. Let's offer her her berth. Oh, we don't have the money right now. Oh no, we do. I am a humble first officer looking for... What's the word? When commoners do things for coin, she asks. Work. That's it. She beams at you, delighted. As innocent as a Gatlinker. She steps aboard. A commoner calmly takes a spoon from his pocket and scoops out his eyes. After such radiance, all else is tawdry, he says, between screams. That's crazy. Okay, we'll look at the shops. So here we can buy hours. You can buy really strange things in the Fallen London universe. Unrefined hours quarried from drifting sky rocks. Each is a walnut-sized geode within. An hour grows like sun crystals. The captain dabs discreetly at his eyes with a handkerchief. Being close to too much time makes one melancholy. That's interesting. And should we look at Nelson's Emporium? Here we can buy fuel and supplies. I'm not sure if this is a good deal or if we should have bought them in the main port. Probably we should have bought them in the main port. And I guess there's a leveling experience here as well. So a moment of reflection. Choose a facet to grow stronger. Are we scarred? Do we have a spell in prison? An interlude in red and gold? Or a scandal? I think an interlude in red and gold sounds very interesting. It sounds very film noir, doesn't it? You lost your mind once. They put you in a splendid hotel, managed by a cheery gentleman. It would determine when you could leave. How colourful the other guests were, how red the curtains, how gold the fittings, how secure the locks. Eventually, you were allowed to leave. But was your recovery genuine? Yes, you're feeling much better, thank you. Or no, you just learned I think we know what we're going to choose here. You said what you had to, and they sent you home. Even now your world is red and gold and splendid. So that's a very unique way of leveling up as well. Having stories, building stories up. And I guess as you build those stories up, they're going to interact with each other perhaps. So I think that could be a good place to end it. I think we've both got a really good feel of how this game is going to pan out. This seems like a perfect game to play anyway, because it looks so fun and it's so creatively written. But I think it can also be very good for ASMR, because there seem to be a lot of gently spoken dialogue here, and lots of trigger words, lots of nice sounding words and relaxing descriptions that you can just let wash over you. I'd like to hear your thoughts about whether you would like to do it more, and if not, then that's fine too. But yes, I think this is going to be a very fun game. I'm very glad I backed it. Interestingly, I did speak to the people who created this game, and I asked them if I could make a video about it, and the person got back to me pretty quick, and they said, well, obviously they said you could, and they said that they always thought that Sunless Seas and Sunless Skies would make a good ASMR experience, and I agree with them on that. I'll end it here then. Thank you very much for spending your precious time watching this, and I hope to see you again soon.